My name's Jake Ashford, 31, and I work in the adult film industry. So I got my start in the adult industry when an agent approached me on social media. I decided to take a chance on it, and it really took off. Never pictured this as my future, but it kind of took off, and I love the whole process of it, so I could stick with it. I was contacted on social media. At the time, I was just personal training and bodybuilding. They thought I had the look to do it, so ran with it. I was very shy about it at first and kind of checked out the names and the companies to make sure everything was legit, and took that first leap of faith, and flew down and did my first shoot. Went pretty well. So the first day I showed up, I was super nervous, a little shaky, but after meeting everybody, they're super nice, very welcoming, and they set everything up very regimented, so it's easy to follow. So I first started in the industry about 8 years ago, and kind of taken breaks here and there. The biggest challenge so far is trying to find that balance between adult entertainment and the schedule of bodybuilding. I have a passion for both of them. Right now one is kind of more of the career path and one's more of the passion. And it's taken a few years to kind of find that balance to adjust both of them into the same lifestyle. But kind of got the hang of it now. Most all friends and family know that I'm an adult entertainer, and they also come to all the competitions. So I kind of had to ease them into it and get them used with the idea, but they're completely supportive now and kind of touch base and give some ideas here and there. It was very kind of spur of the moment and kind of ease it into conversation on the drive somewhere. I didn't want to shock them all at once. My friends are super supportive. Actually, most of my friends work within the industry as well, so it's kind of nice to have that community. Definitely gained a new perspective on things with all the different locations and the different people I meet. It opened up my eyes to a lot of different things. I was very hesitant at first because I thought everybody in the industry might be very kind of superficial, just because a lot of it's based off of looks. But once you get to know everybody has very interesting stories, and most people are very nice. I've had a few struggles along the way, mostly when it comes to dating and relationships. It can be a struggle, but there's enough out there that they kind of understand where you're coming from. Currently in a relationship, and he does very much the similar type of work. When I first went to the adult industry, I was single and stayed single for quite a while, just trying to get my sea legs under me. Because of the work that it is, a lot of it duplicates or resembles what happens in the bedroom with romantic stuff, so it's hard to differentiate that sometimes. But good communication is always key when it comes to stuff like that. The most difficult part with dating and doing the adult industry at the same time is showing the person that you're with that doing the same thing with somebody else doesn't mean that you love them any less. When I first started out, I was always very hesitant with sex and kind of shy around people, but it's very much opened up my world and comfortable with a lot of different things, and found new fetishes here and there along the way. My biggest misconception with the industry was I thought everybody was gonna kind of be fake and kind of circuity, but everyone's super nice, and there's so many different types of people that work within the industry. Know that it's not as scary as it's made out to be. I just say use it as a platform, whether if you're gonna work in the industry or just view it, use it to expand your limits and explore other things that you might like. With a lot of the launches of new social media sites, it seems like the porn industry is dying down as more of the self-promoting or the self-work is on the rise. But it was definitely a fun experience and a good start within the industry. So occasionally I still work with the studios. I used to be contracted, but now I just freelance. I mostly focus on my own work, but occasionally will pick up the studio gigs. I like doing the work myself. I can be a little more creative with it and kind of explore different options. So the things I get to expand on are like locations, people I get to work with, camera angles. With the studio, a lot of that stuff is decided for you. Most of it has been in the United States, but I did get to do one in Madrid, and that was amazing. Got to kind of see another country. So if you're considering the adult entertainment, I would say definitely check your sources, make sure everything is lined up and everything checks out, because you don't want to get taken advantage of. I definitely preferred the more traditional route to at least start, because it gets a good foot in the door and you learn a lot of things through the studios. I like camera angles, lighting, how they cut and energy levels, everything. There's so many things that go into it. No regrets at all. I'm very happy that I chose this path. Consequences is definitely along the way. Even after all this time, you still get negative comments here and there, or people that aren't supportive. But I've definitely expanded my circle of friends and get to travel a lot and experience so many different things. I do get recognized quite a bit. Sometimes in the bigger cities, I get people asked to take pictures with me and autographs and stuff like that, but it's fun interacting with the fans. Yeah, it's cool to kind of meet up with the fans, hear their story, what they like, what they want to see more of. A lot of people don't know that I'm a little artistic. I like painting and sculpting and kind of doing different landscapes. When I first started in the industry, I was very hesitant because I tend to get anxiety attacks in social situations, so I was very hesitant at first. But the first one I did was a small group of people, kind of got used to it. And through the process, I've learned to keep pushing my limits, and I'm so glad that I did, because I've learned so much from this. So I'll get shaky, hard to breathe, my temperature goes up, super sweaty, even passed out a few times, but it actually has helped in the long run. I get them way less frequently. When I first started, almost every time I was on set, I would get one for a little bit, either an acute or a really bad one where we'd have to take a break, but I've kind of learned how to manage it through this industry. And it's helped quite a bit. Ever since starting in high school, I've been super into lifting. After moving around for a bit, I found a coach who helped me in the process of getting ready for a competition. Learned a lot about symmetry within the body, which kind of correlates with the adult industry as well. And then he very much helped me learn how to manage my meals around working in the industry as well. So I started lifting in high school, put on some good size, but it wasn't until I met this coach that really gave me that extra edge to be able to jump on stage. So I used to do shows. I've been taking a little break right now, and then I plan on probably doing another one next year. I just wanted to focus more on personal life and dating, and kind of in the process of moving. So with everything going on, I figured it'd be a good idea to just take a break from things. So I got into bodybuilding because this first started off with general fitness, kind of helping family members with any ailments that they have or self-confidence. And then it kind of just took off from there, and I was like just constantly trying to push myself to the next level. Just a lot of dedication. There's a lot to go into it. You can take many different paths, but you gotta stay committed to it. In the off season, you can be a little relaxed. It still kind of cuts into social life and places where you can go or what you can eat with friends. And then as it gets closer to the competition, it really affects sleeping, eating, social life, and towards competition, it really takes the front seat over everything else. They've been understanding for the most part with bodybuilding. There's a few here and there where friends get upset that you can't like hang out as much as you used to. But in the long run, mostly supportive from everybody. So average day of food for me, depending on if I am bulking or cutting for a show, usually 6 to 8 meals, a few snacks, protein shakes, and it all comes out to, on the high end, like 53,000 calories, or 5,300 calories. Right now, doing a split that is 6 days on, 1 day off. I do Stairmaster about 15 to 20 minutes a day just to keep me hungry. But other than that, right now it's pretty flexible and I can keep a pretty normal social life. So when you're ready to do a competition, it's hour cardio in the morning, a bunch of food, hour at the end. As you get closer to the competition, your food decreases, your energy levels go down, hard to focus, but that refeed at the end of the competition is worth it. So as you reach the show, you're depleting your body of carbs, and then after the show, you can kind of eat whatever you want. So a lot of bodybuilders go out and just have one epic meal, and then they'll kind of jump back into the bodybuilding lifestyle a day or two later. It switches up. My last competition, I went to Buffalo Wild Wings and got like 7 different things on the menu. Nachos, chicken tenders, everything. Normally it's usually kind of bland, chicken and rice, chicken and beef. So when I get to have one of those cheat meals, it's a big thing. The biggest way to stay motivated is just have a supportive circle, whether that's friends, family, other bodybuilders. Right now I'm working out at a gym where there's a lot of competitors, so it kind of helps to stay in that environment. That's what I like about the bodybuilding community. We're all kind of competitive, but yet very much like a family. We're supportive, but yet we're trying to beat each other. Favorite muscle group by far is leg day. On leg day, you can just kind of move the most power, you feel strong, and when you get that pump and you start waddling out of the gym because your legs are so big, it's a very nice feeling. My least favorite to work out is abs. They're exhausting, and I usually tend to save them towards the end of the workout, and I kind of just want to leave by then, but you got to stay dedicated to it if you want to win. Yeah, my least favorite is probably any ab exercise I have to do on the ground. I do not want to keep getting up and down. But my favorites would probably be a hack squat. You can stay within a healthy lifestyle within the bodybuilding community, but it can be hard at times, and a lot of people make that jump to not so healthy in order to win. It has gotten unhealthy for me in the past. That's why I'm taking the break now and like giving my body a break and kind of hit the reset button. I feel much better now. My body is at rest, starting to gain again, and I'm excited to get back into the bodybuilding world. When I first got into it, I was looking up to people like Reagan Grimes, who seems very down to earth, but is making crazy progress. Now, one of the big guys that I look up to is Chris Bumstead. He has a lot of good information, good level-headed, and has made it crazy far in the industry. It seemed like back in the day, everything was old school, and now everything is kind of transitioning to new school, kind of flashy, and making that blend between bodybuilding and influencer, which can get a little confusing at times. So making that branch between the two definitely opens up more opportunities, but kind of takes away that old school aesthetic, which that grungy gym, just lift heavy weight kind of thing. So my favorite cheat meal by far is homemade nachos. Eat the entire thing. I allow myself that like once every couple months. Bodybuilding can definitely be a full-time job. If you have passion for other stuff, I say definitely try to correlate that in there and make some time for yourself, but it does take up a big chunk of time. Bodybuilding, yeah, there's sacrifices along the way. I very much like my snacks and my munchies, which I've kind of had to give up for more healthy options. But in the long run, I'm glad that I did it. So I've definitely had setbacks in bodybuilding. I've torn my Achilles tendon before. I've injured my shoulder, but you gotta remember, you gotta take that time to let things heal before you jump back into it. The injuries like that, I've had to take like months and months off before. And it's very hard to stay motivated within that time when you can't do much. My future goal is I would very much like to go pro in classic physique and then branch over into more the bodybuilding side of things and kind of really get much bigger. I was thinking I'd do bodybuilding for another 5 to 10 years, depending on how things go, and then kind of step back as I launch my own gym. So I want to start a gym for the same reason that I got into fitness for the first place. I want to expand on the knowledge and share that with everybody and spike that passion in other people as well. So with adult entertainment, I was thinking maybe about the same time frame, 5 to 10 years, but with both kind of see how it goes and one day at a time. Have fun with it while you can still do it. So if you're just getting started in bodybuilding, I say take the time, record your food and your exercise and everything, because you can't plan where you're going if you don't know where you're coming from. So one of the biggest difficulties for me when starting was trying to manage everything and tracking my progress. Once I actually stopped and took the time to record everything, so you can have a data stream and see how food and exercise affect your body. The best way to do it is when you first start out, just record everything. So as you adjust things, you can see how your body changes to it, because most people will adjust slightly different and affect people differently. I think anybody has the potential. It might be harder for some, but I say if you have a passion for it, go for it. Why not?